श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओं कृष्णं वन्दे मन्तपाशधरं दिव्यार्भकाकृतिं शिखाबन्धत्रयोपेतं भैष्मीमध्वकरार्चितं. Topic is science behind Ekadashi fasting. The moment we think about Ekadashi fasting, there are two aspects to it. First one is to understand the benefits of fasting, and second, the reason to fast on 11th day of lunar calendar. This is an effort to understand the profound science concealed in 11th day fasting towards full moon and new moon. Ekadashi fasting has been insisted by almost all Purana and Upanishads with highest significance to observe fasting on every Ekadashi day without fail. Further, the scriptures instructs every human being to observe fasting irrespective of race and gender. Only exception for this rule is to the people under age of 8 and above 80. Krishnamrita Maharnava, a book by Sri Madhvacharya, emphasizes 11th day fasting and its benefits through numerous citations from various Puranas and Upanishads. Let's see a couple of them here. Nedrusham pavanam kim naranam bhuvi vidyate yadrusham padmanabhasya dinam patakahanidam. There is nothing as sacred as Ekadashi Padmanabha day, which can clear all sorts of sins for humans on this earth. Ashwamedha Sahasrani Vajapeya Yutanicha Ekadashupavasasya Kalam Narhanti Shodashim. Thousands of Ashwamedha Yaga, 10,000s of Vajapeya Yaga is not even equal to one Ekadashi by 1 by 16. Our Vedic scriptures advises total fasting even without drinking water, specifically on 11th day from full moon and new moon. Previous day to fasting should be with one meal plan, allowing the fasting to start from 10th day post noon session till 12th day morning session. That roughly works out to be around 36 to 40 hours of fasting. To understand the science behind Ekadashi fasting, we need to understand the order of things in human body and also about the cells. The order of things. Human body is composed of roughly 37 to 50 trillion cells. Several cells together forms tissue. Numerous tissues together forms organ. Many organs together forms organ system. And various organ systems together forms body. All metabolic processes occur at cell level that keep the organism alive, and that's why cell is called as fundamental unit of life. Water is very important for body and is present both inside and outside the cells. 60 to 70% of our body weight is by water. In that, around 2/3 is inside cells and 1/3 is outside cells. Now let's look on to cell and its organelles. We can see the picture of cell, which is the cut section of cell. Cells are the basic building blocks from which all organisms are created. They are responsible for all the activities taking place inside the body. Cell has many organelles inside it. To name them: nucleus, ribosome, rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, peroxisome, centrosome, lysosome, centriole, vesicles, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. Every organelle is important and has its own vital functions in the cell. We are not getting into the details of organelles for now, but it is important to know the basic functions of cell. Cell provides structural support for all organisms. Cells are responsible for the growth of organism. Cell import nutrients, export proteins, waste, etc. That is transportation. Cell is responsible for metabolism, that includes all chemical reaction that takes place inside an organism to keep it alive. The metabolism process. Cell produces energy to perform different chemical reactions. Energy production. Cells are responsible for reproduction, and it happens in two ways. One is mitosis, which is for the growth of existing body, and the other is meiosis. This is to produce new beings. Now let's come back to the subject of fasting, and let us also understand the benefits of fasting. Fasting produces ketones, which turns on genes related to antioxidant process and damage repair, which is very vital for our body. Brain uses glucose as fuel, but when brain uses ketones in place of glucose, it promotes mental clarity, positive mood. They also kickstart brain growth factor. That's why it is advised to study or concentrate during fasting. Fasting activates a very special process called autophagy inside the cell. And autophagy is truly God's gift to each individual. Fasting has been advised without drinking water, and the reason for that is it causes extracellular environment of cell as hypertonic or low water concentration with high solutes. This allows the water within the cell to move out of cell. So the water which is outside the cell will not come inside, rather the water within the cell will move out. With this, the glucose will also not come into the cell, because glucose moves into the cell with water. When water is not coming into the cell, glucose will also not move into the cell. When glucose is not coming into the cell, the energy is not produced. In that case, autophagy starts breaking the intracellular components for energy production. During this process, cell membrane permeability is checked. Improper permeability of cell membrane causes neurodegenerative diseases, muscle dystrophy, etc. Mitochondrial membrane permeability is also checked during this process, as mitochondrial inner membrane has also fluid within it. Improper mitochondrial membrane permeability leads to cell death, which reduces the lifespan. And we have seen previously that mitochondrion is one of the organelle in the cell which is important, and that is the one which produces energy in the cell. Now let's understand autophagy and its benefit. Let us also understand why autophagy is considered to be a divine gift. Autophagy gets activated under various conditions like cellular stress, cell death, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases, embryogenesis and cell differentiation, type 2 diabetes, aging, infection, and fasting. The beauty of fasting induced autophagy is that it works to avoid the occurrence of other diseases, where autophagy activates at the later stage. Anyhow, autophagy is going to get activated, but that will get activated when diseases are occurred. But fasting induced autophagy avoids the occurrences of those diseases. Organelles in the cell fails or go weak. Dysfunctional organelles are associated with human diseases like aging, cancer, cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative disease, etc. Autophagy is natural regulated mechanism of cell that removes dysfunctional organelles. Human body contains trillions of cells, and over a period of time, unwanted molecules accumulates inside them. Non-removal of these molecules and proteins causes diseases like Alzheimer's, Huntington's, etc. Autophagy removes those unwanted molecules. Autophagy involves in repairing or removing the malfunctioning cells, without which it turns as cancer cells. Toxin accumulation in body causes destruction of red blood cells and dangerous photosensitivity. Autophagy cleans out toxins and infectious agents to keep immune system intact. Autophagy tries to fix the issues first, and in case of failure, it regulates mitochondria to activate apoptosis, a cell death process, because apoptosis is activated in mitochondria, and autophagy regulates mitochondria to activate apoptosis in case of failure in fixing the problems. Mitochondria can itself start dysfunctioning. Dysfunctional mitochondria can affect almost any part of the body, including brain, nerves, muscles, kidneys, heart, liver, eyes, ears, or pancreas, with tumors, damages, failures, etc. In such cases, autophagy directs the degradation of mitochondria. and also involves in activating proteins responsible for formation of new mitochondria. Human body requires many kinds of cell to function, but it does not produce each cell type. Instead, it produces stem cells that can develop into many other types of cells. In fact, human development started from stem cell itself. Stem cells deal both with disease and with giving us optimal health. Autophagy plays a crucial role in sustaining stem cell functionality and efficiency, regulating its metabolism. Non-functioning of autophagy leads to cancer development, neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, muscle disorders, etc. Through the branch of science, physiology, we have understood about the advantages of fasting, which induces autophagy that can reduce the possibility of getting life-threatening diseases. Now let's understand the prime reason for insisting fasting on 11th day from new moon and full moon. This has lot more to do with geophysics, and we need to understand the relation between sun, moon and earth to have better clarity on this. Till now, whatever we have seen that belongs to physiology. Now whatever we are going to see belongs to geophysics. The very subject of 11th day towards new moon and full moon itself confirms the direct relation between moon and fasting. We all know what are tides. Tides are caused by gravitational pull of sun and moon on earth's water. The moon appears new when it is directly between earth and sun. We can see in the picture, this is sun, this is earth. When moon is in between, that is new moon. The moon appears full when earth is between moon and sun. Now this is sun, this is moon and earth is in between. That is full moon. New moon and full moon happens when all three are in a straight line. When sun, moon and earth are in one line, new moon and sun moon happens. In both cases, the gravitational pull of the moon on earth causing oceans to bulge is more than usual. And also the solar tide has an additive effect on the lunar tide, creating extra high tides called spring tide. We can see from the picture, there are two arcs around earth. One is the lighter arc, one is the darker arc. The darker arc inside is the solar tide and the lighter arc outside is the lunar tide. During new moon and full moon, solar tide force adds to the lunar tide force, creating extra high tides, and they are called as spring tide. 7.5 days after spring tide, the sun and moon are at right angle to each other. We can see from the picture at the bottom. The sun and moon are at right angle here. Here, solar tide partially cancels lunar tide, producing extra low tides called as neap tide. And this appears in the first and third quarter when moon appears half full. Even though the moon is smallest of all three, its gravitational force is more than that of sun's due to the distance factor. Hence, moon's gravity plays a major role on earth. In fact, the height of the average solar tide is about 50% of the average lunar tide. The force of the spring tides are higher than the neap tides. In between neap tide and spring tide, there is another tidal force called as lunisolar tidal force. Moon's gravitational acceleration decreases when moon travels from spring tide towards neap tide. See, this is spring tide where the forces are 100% and this is neap tide where the forces are partially cancelled. So when moon travels from spring tide to neap tide, that means from 100% to partially cancelled force, the acceleration is on decreasing mode. When the moon travels from neap tide towards spring tide, that is from partially cancelled force towards 100%, then it is on increasing side. The gravitational acceleration is on incremental phase. That means from new moon or full moon, 11th day always falls in moon's incremental phase. We can see 11th day falling on moon's incremental phase. The force of spring tides are higher than neap tides. The water level should vary by 3/4 of a meter between high tide to low tide. This is what math says. If water rise is 1 meter at spring tide, then it is 0.25 meter at neap tide. So if it is 1 meter here at spring tide, that's going to be around 0.25 meter at neap tide. Corresponding lunar force will also be 100% at spring tide and 25% at neap tide. So we knew that at spring tide lunar force is 100%. Now we have understood the lunar force at neap tide is 25%. After partial cancellation, available lunar force at neap tide is 25%. Number of approximate days from neap tide to spring tide, 7.5 days. Percentage moon has to gain in 7.5 days, that is 75%, because at neap tide it is 25% and spring tide is 100%. So 100 minus 25 is 75%. Average gain per day, 75 divided by 7.5, that is 10%. Number of days for 11th day from neap tide, that is 3.5 days. 7.5 to 11 is 3.5 days. Force gained by moon for 3.5 days, that is 35% at 10% per day. Force gained by moon from neap tide to 11th day, that is 60%, because at neap tide it was 25% and 35% is what it has gained from 7.5 days to 11 days. So that is 25 plus 35, 60%. Solar force at 11th day is 30% because it is 50% of lunar force. Lunar force is 60%, so solar force will be 30%. Hence at 11th day lunisolar tidal force is 60% lunar and 30% solar. Various experiments in science have evidenced the lunisolar tidal force with 30% solar and 60% lunar regulates number of features of growth upon earth, and these forces are reason to be experienced on 11th day from new moon and full moon. That is what we have seen. Regulating the growth upon earth is regulating growth of plants and animals, which is nothing but cell growth regulation. The growth regulatory pathways converging on autophagy genes to control cell size indicates autophagy as central regulatory mechanism for cell growth. So now we have understood autophagy is the central regulatory mechanism for cell growth. That means if the features of growth upon earth are regulated, that means the autophagy is regulated when solar is 30% and lunar is 60%. Autophagy must be tightly regulated as cell growth requires balance in autophagic pathway. The defective autophagy has been implicated in many diseases including cancer, neurodegenerative disease, metabolic disorders like obesity, diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver diseases, etc. While excessive autophagy is also harmful because it promotes cell death. On 11th day morning, our fasting duration would be roughly around 12 hours from 10th day evening. So from 10th day evening, if we add 12 hours, that is 11th day morning. During that time, the lunar force is 60%. As the day progresses, fasting duration increases and lunar force also increases, which balances the situation. On 12th day morning, while lunar force turns out to be 70%, fasting is cancelled by eating, which deactivates autophagy. So autophagy is deactivated when lunar force is 70% and plus. Our sacred scriptures prohibits 10th day fasting, where the lunisolar force is deficient, less than 60%. Fasting is ordered to be broken on 12th day morning, where the lunisolar force is excessive, more than 70%. The specified range of 30% solar and 60% lunar on 11th day is reasoned out for tight regulation of autophagy. Inducing autophagy any day before 11th day might lead to deficit or diffusive autophagy, and after 11th day leads to excessive autophagy. Hence, fasting on some other day other than 11th day from full moon and new moon not only defeats the objective of fasting induced autophagy in curing diseases, but it also invites the unwanted life threatening diseases. So now we have understood the benefits of fasting along with significant reasons to do it on 11th day only from full moon and new moon. What else we want to get convinced on Ekadashi fasting? The divine design is eagerly waiting to work for our well-being, and that too at the cost of mere fasting. An important message for young, aged and medically supported ones to seek medical professionals' advice without fail before taking up fasting. With one example of Ekadashi fasting covering both physiology and geophysics, we can now estimate how profound our Vedic scriptures are. And indeed, it's an eye-opening for us to realize them as profound spiritual science. Understanding the profoundness of spiritual science is not only the essence of philosophy, but also the gift for every individual to perceive God's finest engineering. In fact, the works of Sri Vedavyasa stands as citations for the entire gamut of science at all times and period, provided we understand them properly. Finally, with prayers to Sri Madhvacharya and his indweller Lord Sri Krishna to bestow the determination to observe fasting on every Ekadashi and ability to learn more divine engineering within us and around us, I am signing off. Thank you. Krishnarpanamastu. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.